everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Welcome once more to another video podcast of Alexandra Mayers Live Painting Edition. Tonight I'm just going to just paint something. I don't know what exactly, but I've had a little bit of a tough past couple of days, but I am surviving. I am definitely surviving. I know a part of the reason that as of late I've just had a far less of a tolerance for BS than I used to in the past is because I am 110% sober. Haven't had a drink or a cigarette since September 26th, 2019. I have been doing my marathon training, which has been going pretty well. I'm going into week 7 this week. I hit the gym a little bit earlier. Those of you who follow me on Twitter at Alex Mayers Live are well aware of my attempt at athleticism at this phase of my life, being 41 now, which is no spring chicken. But I just know I'm feeling things on an emotional level a lot more intensely than I used to. Because though a lot of people who are routine drinkers and smokers don't want to admit it, when you're a drinker and a smoker, you are numb to a lot of bullshit, and you tend to let a lot of shit go that you shouldn't. And that was really something that I had done without realizing it for quite a few years when it comes to my family life, my social life outside of my family, my career, everything. And now that I have so much clarity, and now that I'm just feeling so good about myself, I'm noticing everything. and I will not put up with it. I refuse to. And one thing about being a recovering alcoholic, and that's something I will be my entire life. Anyone who's been an alcoholic, when they stop drinking, that doesn't mean that they're not an alcoholic anymore. It just means that they've made the choice to stop. But if they start again, they will be an alcoholic. One thing you'll notice about almost anybody who's an alcoholic is that immediately around them, they tend to have very abusive people. People who are enablers, people who are thoughtless, basically people who kind of drive them to drink. And I think the most difficult thing about stopping drinking is that oftentimes you have to raise your boundaries. You have to take stock of who's in your life, and you have to decide, okay, this might be someone who's salvageable, and this other person over here might not be someone who I want to keep around. And that can be a very difficult process to go through. It can be very hurtful for some people. There's some people who will try to encourage their friends or family even to drink because they don't want that alcoholic to change, because they know if that alcoholic changes, they won't want to be around them anymore. So that's something that you got to contend with when you stop drinking. You also got to realize that some people will try to basically coerce you into drinking again just by doing things that they know trigger you, that they know will make you upset, that they know will hurt you. But you have to be strong. You have to be strong, and you have to constantly remind yourself that loving yourself is very important, and that you have the power in your life to do whatever it is that you want to do, really. Those of you who have been keeping up with my marathon training, I'll probably have to do this marathon training my entire life, really, because going to the gym for me and just exercising, sometimes going to the park, because I like to go to the park too, but just exercising is really the only stress release that I have right now. Which is why I'm painting tonight, because I feel like, okay, maybe if I paint, I'll feel better about a few things. But just when you stop drinking, you just start realizing that quite a few people around you might be completely irrational, and that might be very selfish, and that can be a hard thing to contend with. But you can make it. You can make it. I know it sounds like I'm being motivational for others, but I'm really just kind of getting my thoughts out so I can listen to myself later and motivate myself later and keep myself on the right path. This week, coming up on the PNT Live Network, which you can access on pntlive.net, I will be focusing this week primarily on the dangers of organized crime-controlled sex trafficking operations. But I will also be touching on the element of mental health, because myself and some other bloggers over the years have noticed that there's quite a few adult entertainers who seem to be incredibly mentally ill. But I didn't realize to what extent until recently, and it's not good. It's interesting though, because it's very unlikely that anything will ever be done about it. Because I personally at least don't think that there would be much of an adult entertainment industry if a mental health screening were ever put into play. Not at all. Not at all. I think that for the most part, what draws you in, even if you are mentally healthy, what draws you in initially to the adult entertainment industry is something going on in your life which is not good. There's almost always something going on in a person's life that isn't good, that draws them into the adult entertainment industry. And if you were able to catch people right before they came in and offer them assistance, I'd say 99% of the individuals who think that a career within the adult entertainment industry is right for them, I think 99% of the people wouldn't do it. And that is not really what the powers that be of the pornography industry want to happen. They want girls to, and guys too, to think, you know what, I've had an epiphany. I'm brilliant to think that I'm going to be the next Jenna Jameson, or, I don't know, Ron Jeremy. It's going to work out perfectly. Yes. And my life is just going to be wonderful once I'm a porn star. Now, of course, it really doesn't, it didn't even work out for Jenna Jameson. Like, look at her life. It worked out for a while there, at least it kind of seemed like it, but really, no, it didn't. It didn't. So, yeah, that's what I'll be talking about because those of you who follow me know that I got to know someone fairly well, and honestly, I didn't notice certain things about this person until I completely sobered up. And I do hope that this particular person gets the assistance that they need. I think in time they'll have no choice, actually, but to get the assistance that they need. I want to do a political news time podcast sometime soon because I really want to touch on this Mike Bloomberg situation. I'm not even going to talk about it too much right now because I don't want to give too much of a preview in regards to things that I want to say. But what I will say is that I'm very disappointed that Andrew Yang gave up as quickly as he did. I wonder if he was bullied or threatened or something into exiting the presidential race as quickly as he did. I'm not sure. But he shouldn't have given up as quick as he did because, I mean, I don't know if he's not familiar with the biblical story of David and Goliath or what, but I think he had a solid chance. I really do. I think he had a solid chance, and I think that there were a lot of young Asian Americans who really were hoping he would stick it out and go all the way. I mean, I look at this whole Bloomberg and Trump situation, and again, I don't want to get too much into it tonight, but it's like, really? My choice is old white privileged man or another old white privileged man who's the exact same age and about 3 inches shorter. But I'm supposed to think that he's so much better because he's 3 inches shorter. Really? That's how I'm supposed to feel? From what I hear, he's trying to buy the black vote. So Mike Bloomberg, if you're out there and you can hear me, I'm for sale. My vote, at least. Because you're going to have to give me some money before I vote for your ass. You're going to have to. I almost, well, no, I'm not, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that. Because I don't trust him. I really don't. I don't trust any politician. Politicians are worse than porn stars. They really are. I hope everyone had a nice Valentine's Day. Mine was okay. I just have a lot of people trying me. I don't know how old some of you out there listening are, but when I was in high school, I remember that was like the catchphrase. Don't be trying me. Ooh, she tried you. She tried you. So yeah, a lot of people have been trying me lately, and that's fine. That's fine, because I think they're all trying to drive me to drink, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. Not at all. Because I got a lot of stuff to do. Tonight's piece, I don't have a title for it yet. I just have an idea in mind that I'm manifesting at this moment. But tonight's piece is about two women. Two women who are at odds with each other, who, at least surface-wise, appear to even hate each other. But I think the reason that they hate each other is because they're so damn alike. They are so damn similar. Even their battle tactics are hauntingly similar. Use the exact same things to fight. It's funny. But that's the inspiration for tonight's piece. So, yeah. I think what happens sometimes when it comes to the world of adult entertainment, not even necessarily pornography, more so when it comes to what pornography is a billboard for. And I'm talking about prostitution, escorting, things like that. What happens sometimes is that you end up having people who have just stayed at the party a little bit too long. And when they do, especially if it's a woman and she's an escort or a prostitute and she doesn't really want to do that anymore, she's looking at her life and she's thinking, man, what am I going to do? Stayed at the party way too long, and I have no golden parachute for my retirement or anything like that. Now, of course, the woman could get a regular job, but the problem when it comes to a lot of escorts and prostitutes is that they develop an attitude to where they think that they're above and beyond working a regular job that generates a regular income. And part of the reason that they develop that attitude is because when they're active as a sex worker, they tend to be active or service people who are of means. Okay, so they get used to a certain kind of lifestyle, even though they're not really earning that lifestyle in the way that someone in the real world would earn a living. You know, it's like they don't understand the concept of how much time it really does take to make a certain amount of money, you know, because if you're working as an escort, you're getting a lump sum for just a few hours of your time. That's how it works. But that's not how the real world works at all. So oftentimes, women who have been in that world for an extended amount of time, the idea of ever having a regular job scares the hell out of them. So they're always looking for a way to stay in the world of adult entertainment, but to where they don't have to do the work. Okay, in other words, they want to exploit others. And the word for that is pimping. They want to become pimps themselves or madams. Now, in order to be a top pimp, a really great pimp, you have to be very smart, very resourceful, kind of ruthless, really. You can't care. And ideally, you're somebody who is not one who seeks a lot of attention, because you're not looking to draw attention to yourself if you're going to be an effective criminal. Now, there are some loudmouth pimps out there. If you follow my research, you know that. But the best ones, you don't know their name. You don't know what they look like. You don't know anything about them. Nothing. Zip. Zero. Nothing. They're not on social media. They don't run or operate or own any blogs. They're basically invisible. But a lot of people don't seem to understand that.